All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, of course, and on the 1010XL app. It is Friday morning before Jaguars today. Had to help my boy Gramage out with some scheduling and get in here early and give you the podcast brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. Awesome businesses to help you out there, whatever you may need. And new to the Tommy Mac team, Solomon Ventures. Go check them out on Art Museum Drive. Most of you know them already. They've been around forever. A great store where they say shopping is an adventure. Great to have them on board. I love all of my my businesses, man. I love representing you, and you're all good people, and, man, I love good people. There's no doubt about that. Of course, here in the 1010XL podcast studios, where you can find a ton of podcasts done right here. Actually, Hacker and Denny Thompson just got done with theirs that they do every week, and that'll be up shortly as well. Let's say hello to my boy, my good buddy and producer extraordinaire. It's Gramage. What's up, Gramage?
Happy Friday, sir. How are you?
Wait, what is that, a vest? 1010XL vest?
Yes, sir.
Dude, I kind of like that.
Dude, I love
Where'd you get that swag?
One Steve Griffin.
Okay.
Gave it to us. I think it was about maybe 2 or 3. I think it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
For
I got one of the hoodies, so I'm
yeah.
very happy. I might have to ask for that. That's
well, I like one thing I like about it is it's because it's like a nicer vest.
Yeah.
You can wear a hoodie.
Yeah.
And then put the vest on, and it looks like a like a nicer fit than just the hoodie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the hoodie a lot of times gives off vibes of like comfort around the house. Almost like.
Does it? I think of it as warmth.
It depends on what kind of hoodie, I think.
Right.
But when you add the vest, it's like, oh no, he got himself together today.
The hood. Do you wear the hood all the time? I don't hardly ever wear the hood. Most of the time, the hoods, I mean, they barely fit over this big.
Oh, like wear the put the hood on my head.
Hoodie, so you put the hood up.
If I'm outside,
it's really cold.
Yeah. I only do it if the weather actually.
Right.
But yeah, I'm never just like sitting inside, hood on.
Right,
I typically don't do that.
Yeah, no, you mess up all that good hair, man.
Exactly.
You can't do that. All right, let's get into it. Hey, great time last night. Great, I had a great day yesterday, man. The horse's mouth was awesome. Coach Dave Campo, Austin Lane, the former Jacksonville Jaguar, MMA and UFC fighter, man. Those fighters are special, dude. They're just special. It's so cool. Wait till you check that out. That'll be out there in the near future, but had a great time there. Took a little break, and then Tommy Mac's Happy Hour. We had Aaron Beasley, Big John Henderson, and little man James Stewart, of course, one of the OGs, along with myself. Bees is pretty much an OG. He came in the year after. John, of course, was a menacing terror. This is what I did. Dude, this was so funny. We didn't film it or nothing. I probably should have, Gramage. So John gets there, and him and his buddy John, who helps him out. They're eating and whatnot. My guests get a tab. They get to eat and drink or whatever. So we're getting ready to start the show, and John walks over, and I said, John, do me a favor. He's like, what do you want? What? I said, come on, stand right here. So he's standing, he's 6'7.5" to begin with. I said, put your hands as high as you can in the air. And he puts his hands up, and I'm like, you look like it's like a grizzly bear coming at you. How did anybody ever throw over him as a menacing defense? And then you had Stroud next to him. By the way, he had 45 passes deflected in his career in the NFL. 45. Think
That's crazy.
That's pretty incredible, right?
Yeah.
Like, do your hands hurt? Like they're coming at you like, right. He's like, we used to, Peyton used to drive Peyton nuts because we all know this. When you can push that pocket from the inside and get your hands up, whether you get a sack or not, you knock that ball down, man. You're getting off the field. It's another down. You know what I mean? They're turning the ball over, whatever the case may be. So great to have him. And
gets in the QB's head, too.
What's that?
Gets in the QB's head.
Absolutely.
You bat a couple of passes early.
I'm not kidding. As tall as the ceiling. From tip of toe down. I mean, you're looking at a grizzly bear coming at you, or a polar bear, whatever. He's coming, and he was a menace. He talked about how the Joe slap started, and that was his rookie. I didn't realize this. His rookie year in the preseason. He said he just felt a little sluggish and needed to get picked up. So Joe, the trainer, who was our trainer too, smacks him. Unbelievable. That's iconic, man. That's some iconic stuff.
The best, most under talked about part of that clip is how small Joe is compared to John.
Tiny Joe.
Like
Joe Sheehan. I was trying to remember his name. Joe Sheehan.
Like Joe is just, it could not be like just the more perfect person to do it. Because if it was like Marcus Stroud slapping him, it doesn't have the same thing. It's like, it's got to be someone that had to really get up there.
And he cracks him. I mean, it's not like... And at first, like, John's even telling him, but Joe's like, no. He's like, hit me, Joe. No. Like, no, why would I? He's like, all I knew from Joe was he used to tape my ankles, so I figured I'd go to Joe to hit me and get me going. Joe's actually the head medical guy and trainer up at the Cleveland Browns.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He was always a great dude. All right, Monday Night Football coming to town, and I tell you what, it brings back memories of playing in Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football, any primetime game where you're the only game in town. You think about, like, all your friends growing up, high school, coaches, teammates, friends, college coaches, the neighborhood, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, everybody that loves you and knows you is watching the game to watch you personally and your team to perform. So that's an awesome feeling. Like, that's euphoric. When you're getting ready to take the field on Monday Night Football, you see the trucks, you see the cast, you see everything there. It's all heightened up. Everybody's jacked up. The crowd's been partying, since the afternoon and ready to go. And man, there's nothing like it. It's euphoric. Now, up until that point, I wasn't a big fan of, because it just took forever. You're sitting around, waiting around. You may get up at, early and then just have to kind of wait and wait and wait. And if you wait, if you lay around too much, you get lethargic, you get tired, you got to move around, you got to, it's just a long day. But once you get to the stadium, once those lights go down and then the lights come up, of course, the sun goes down, the lights come up. It is absolutely fantastic. I know you Jag fan. I think our first one, there you go. Oh, man. Come on, now you're bringing back childhood memories for me. Howard Cosell, he was the best. As like many of us watching this program, at least in my era, on Monday nights, I was allowed to stay up until after Howard Cosell's highlights. I as a kid, I loved his voice, the highlight. Man, and my parents were like, okay, but after that, you guys are going to bed. And obviously we did. I roll up our long johns. We're in Chicago, put on our favorite jersey, get ready for Monday Night Football, man. It was good times. Good times. That's been a great product.
If you don't love Monday Night Football, you don't love ball.
Yeah.
That's like...
Yeah. No, it's like... And look, I like Thursday night, but that kind of... I don't know. It doesn't have the same... Sunday night's closer to Monday night than... You know what I mean? The being on that stage. Because Sunday night, look, you're on that stage too. Sunday
Night Football is awesome in terms of a product. I love it. Mm-hmm. The one difference for me for Sunday night as a consumer is just because of when it is, I'm kind of still like, I'm a little bit sad the day of football's over.
Right.
So it's like I love Sunday Night Football, but it's a little somber because I'm like, man, like football's over.
I never make it to the end. I'm more into like just the fact that, because I get into the, like the hoopla of it. And I watch probably the first half. I mean, sometimes I'll go in the third quarter. It depends how much I've eaten and drank on that Sunday. I get a little tired. But I just love the fact, the leading up to it. So it's fantastic. I remember we played Green Bay night game. Who remembers? I'll tell you what, 96, I'll never forget this. This was a fun-ass series of events. Seattle Seahawks come to town. And I think we're on our run. We're 6-7, I think. Or maybe we're 7-7. No, I forget. We might have had 2 games after that or 1 game. I can't remember. But anyway, we're like right around 6-7. We're on our way up from like 3-6 to 6-7, and we got them at home on a Sunday night. And they got the ball first and goal to 1 in the north end zone. And 4 plays later, we had the ball back. And it was me and Boyer. Brackens made a big play. Hardy. I mean, we just stuffed Chris Warren a few times. They tried to pound him right up in there. Just wow. That north end zone went freaking nuts. That was great. Of course, we remember when Cowher faked the punch. That was on Monday night against the Steelers. Remember that? That was a great game. I was on IR. I had my ACL that year, but what a great game that was. And it came down to a end of the game kick, and we block it and return it. We didn't have to return. I think we won anyway. And Chris Hudson's coming down the sideline. Cowher fakes the punch. That was great. Played against the 98, the Dolphins, Dan Marino. Bernie Parmalee was the starting running back that game.
That's crazy.
And he's obviously the Jaguars running back.
And that was the famous Tony Baselli, Jason Taylor game.
It
right?
It was. Oh, yeah.
Tony whooped his ass. And
he did. What? Yeah, he did.
You've heard Jason Taylor's quote about that game, right? Famous.
Felt like a kid.
He said if they had never turned the lights off, Tony Baselli would still be kicking my ass in that game.
He did. Hey, listen, that was a mismatch. I mean, when you're only 265 and he's 330 and he's just as athletic as you are.
That's the kicker.
That's a problem.
Because typically a Jason Taylor type of edge is used to being able to just blow by big, clunky linemen.
Right.
Baselli was huge, but not clunky. He could move.
Oh, totally move.
Which is crazy.
Kind of like Trent Williams. He moved.
Yes.
Those two move very similar.
So it's like, dude, if he's got that much weight on you and he's matching you every step and you can't get around him, what are you going to do?
How good did Ezra Cleveland look running down the field?
Really good, man.
In the front. I like him. He comes off the ball good, too. We'll get into that. But just great memories of and I saw online, 12 years was our last Monday Night Football game. Is that true?
Yes.
I don't remember. Yes. What year was that? So it's 23. So
2011.
11? Oh, good math, Tommy. 2011? And was that Blaine Gabbert? Did we get our ass beat?
Might have been 11 or 12. I forgot.
11 or 12?
Yeah, the Chargers beat us pretty good.
Okay.
Cecil Shorts caught a touchdown in that game. They did come here,
They did come here.
Yep.
I barely remember that. Yeah. Blaine Gabbert, hey, he's still playing, I think. So
that was during all the Wayne Weaver selling ownership to Shad and Del Rio. I think Del Rio got fired around the same time, and there was a lot going on. It was
Malarkey came after Del Rio. Didn't he, Coach Malarkey?
Yep.
He never got a chance. I wasn't even.
He got one season.
Yeah, it was like, come on. It's like Frank Reich up in Carolina. I mean, I don't know. There's got to be something more to it. That owner's kind of kooky, but whatever. That's their problem and not ours. So we got a big game, of course, taking on the Bengals, who, look, I mean, they don't have their guy. They don't have Joe Burrow. He is done for the year. He was hurt most of or 3 of the games with a calf injury. Never really did come back for a game or two where it seemed to be full strength. But now Jake Browning's the guy. He started, I think, a game when Joe was out with the calf, and then he's had the past 2 starts. Look, they're not very good on offense overall. They've got tremendous talent at wide receiver. We'll see if T. Higgins plays. He's questionable. I did not see the injury report yet today. But Tyler Boyd's very capable, of course. Jamar Chase, he is phenomenal. All you got to do is get the ball in his hands. So it's not like, look, this team, we got to believe that the Jaguars are not overlooking anybody ever again, at least this season. Right? We got to believe that, right? Because you can't. And I think they showed, although you wouldn't look past Houston. And the only reason you maybe look past is because Joe's not there. And not that you're looking past them, but they're like, oh, it's the Bengals. They're going to be tough, but Joe's not the quarterback. It'd be a different – think of this game if Joe was the quarterback.
Oh, my God.
It'd be unbelievable. I mean, it would be an unbelievable, epic Monday Night Football game.
It would.
No slight to Jake Browning. I'm sorry. I don't know the kid, but he's not Joe Burrow, obviously.
It would be the biggest game of the year so far. Houston was.
Yeah.
And if Burrow was playing, this game would then become the biggest game. And then I think now, and this is fans and media talking. This is not players, obviously. They're focused on the next game.
Oh, yeah. Have to.
But now I think for the rest of us, I think we're looking at that Baltimore game as being the biggest game. The Houston was.
Yep.
This game would have been if Burrow had played, and then Lamar and the boys coming to town in a couple weeks will be the next.
Here's the thing, and it's the NFL in general. You still, even without Joe in the lineup, Joe Burrow, you still see the list of stars. Big name players, offense, defense, skill. They're still there. That's why a team like that can beat you any given Sunday. That's when you have players, and look, you may not be playing well as a team, even though you have players. You know what I mean? And when you're missing your franchise QB, obviously that plays a factor into both sides of the ball. Because on paper, they don't do that much on offense. Joe Mixon's, I think, a very good running back. Their offensive line, Orlando Brown Jr. Karras, the center's a good center. Jonah, that's why they moved him to right. I guess he's okay. I haven't really watched him a ton. They've given up 31 sacks, 7 in the last 2 games. So there might be something there. They give up on defense. So you think of their defense. Okay, Logan Wilson comes to mind, number 55. Hell of a player, without a doubt. Trey Hendrickson, who, man, when he went from the Saints.
That's the guy for me.
He was the guy I wanted the Jags to go after. He is a natural pass rush.
He's a freaking beast, man.
He is a beast. He's like,
you can't watch their games.
Babin in his prime. Jason Babin. Yeah. Remember, he was just a natural, fast, gifted, good with his hands, could bend. He is a really good player. He's got 10.5 sacks right now.
What I love about Hendrickson is, as a guy that's not a Bengals fan and doesn't watch the Bengals, I watch when they're on primetime, that type of thing, but if they're on during the Jags, I won't see a snap of their game. Anytime I watch them at all, you can't watch 2 drives without noticing him doing something.
No, right. He's
always
so does Wilson
making a play.
55. Yeah. I mean, he makes play after play after play.
Love those guys. Those guys that are just in the mix all the time. Foye Oluokun is that way.
Oh, no doubt.
He's in the mix. Yeah. Wherever there's a pile of bodies and people being tackled, he's dead in the middle of it. I love that.
Yeah, and Hendrickson against the run, although they give up 5 yards to carry. Now, I didn't go back to all their games. Was there one game that just they got crushed and then they've done better? You know what I mean? But overall, they're giving up 5 yards to carry. We'll see if we can exploit that a little bit. Sam Hubbard's another guy that's a pretty good player, defensive lineman out of Ohio State. He was a free agent to them last year, I believe. And look, he's got 4 sacks. He's good stout defensive end. Their interior guy, DJ Reader, one time was considered a very good inside defensive tackle. BJ Hill, you've heard of him, nothing, major. But look, that you look at, I've already mentioned receivers, Joe Mixon. So my point is, you're not going to look past him. You can't. It's an AFC opponent. It's Monday Night Football. You never want to get humiliated on Monday Night Football.
That's the key.
Your best. You kidding me? You're doing guns on Saturday. Let me tell you got to let them rest today and then show them the next day. We used to do them on Fridays when we play on Sunday. After Fridays. Well, first of all, if I may be true telling the story, I was the lone one. I think me and Boyer we'd be like, hey, let's go do some arms to look good on game day. Done with practice. So vain. But whatever. We try somebody. So we'd get on the pulley. We'd start doing push downs. And then we superset them with, the push or the curls. And then we do, this. We do hammer curls and, skull curls. Do it quick, like 25, 30 minutes, just really quick. And then next thing you know, Loggeman's coming around. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing, man? Oh, we're doing arms. Make them look good. Oh, okay. Next thing you know, we got like 6, 7 guys. Baselli's in there on occasion, pumping out, just to get those nice, It's funny. I'll tell you a real quick funny story. Joe Wolf and Doug Weidel, Dave's brother. So they were 5th-year seniors when I was a freshman, redshirt freshman.
At BC?
Yeah, and they were total studs. Joe was a first-round pick. Doug was a second-round pick. They played offensive line, both of them, guard and tackle. And both played, 10 years, 11 years. Great players. Anyway, me and my friend Mike Marinero working out. I think we were squatting in, October. And they come over, and they're like, yo, what do you think you guys are doing? We're like, what are you talking about? Like, during the season, you only work on stuff that's showing outside of your uniform. Like, what? Yeah, calves and arms and a little bit of neck. Anything else?
A little bit of neck.
A little bit of neck. And there's nothing, you don't have to do any other lifting. We're like, what? He's like, hey, you got to look good. The calves, the arms. Anyway, that always came into mind. That's why I started doing them on Fridays. But, yeah, you'll grease them up and get them ready because there's nothing like playing on Monday Night Football. It's like a playoff game. It's that kind of euphoric atmosphere feeling. You can't wait. The one thing you can't do is you can't mentally peak too early or you'll be exhausted come kickoff. You can't play the game in your head all game long, right? You can't get so hyped. Oh, I can't wait.
2 p.m. in the afternoon, you're going crazy.
Right? So here's the trick, though. You can't get too lethargic either. Now, it depends on the person. But if I lie in bed longer than my body's used to, I get more tired. I don't get less tired. You know what I mean? So if I sleep 9 hours, 8 hours, go get breakfast, and then just go lay in my bed for 3 hours or 4 hours, I'm kind of tired. You know what I mean? So you got to find that, but you can't also run through a wall, right after breakfast. You got to wait till like after lunch.
What's a good thing to do then? To kill
go for
time.
a walk, get your mind off it. Most teams will do a walkthrough. Like you'll go out in the parking lot of your hotel or into the ballroom and do a quick walkthrough. You might visit with family. They come to the hotel. They're in town. They want to see you. Maybe friends that you haven't seen. Just take your mind off it. Nothing too crazy.
I remember in the Last Dance documentary with Michael Jordan, he would either gamble or play golf.
Yeah.
Before huge games.
I don't know how
he plays golf. That's crazy.
He did.
That's
even
crazy.
Before like playoff games, championship.
It's unreal.
I don't know how you do that. I would.
And his teammates said he'd be up gambling.
Yeah.
Till like 5 a.m.
I know.
Have like a 8 a.m. tea time.
Yep.
Go play around 18 holes, and that night drop 40 on people and be unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like what?
6 steals, 12 assists, 40 points. Yeah, he was incredible. No doubt about that. Well, that's like you hear the old story. I remember when I was playing with the Jags, talking to the equipment guys who were with teams forever, and they're like, "Tommy Mack, you should have seen in the '80s. Guys would come in, right from the bars. They'd sleep in the equipment room." On the morning of the game, they get up, and if they were doing any kind of narcotics, they would tell the team doctor, "Yo, doc, I was out late last night. I did this, I did that." I mean, it was absolutely wild back in the 80s.
That's crazy.
The 70s are probably even more crazy, but nonetheless, that wasn't the mid to late 90s, although, we had our fun. There's no doubt about that. All right, we're going to get into the stats. Look, I think at the end of the day, I want to see Trevor just continue to grow, man. I thought last week he really just, hey, man, and we were saying it last night on the show with the guys, like when he takes off and runs, that's part of the weaponry, man. Embrace it. Don't fight it. Just let it come naturally and use the gifts that God gave you, right? You can take off. You're fast. You're big. Make sure you slide. Make sure you don't take unnecessary hits, but make sure that that's part of your game because that just makes you, we say it every time, don't we, Gramage? It's been for years since he's been here. When he throws the run in, everything else seems more natural, and he's in flow. He's in rhythm. He's throwing dimes. He's confident. Just, you know what I mean? Not that he's not confident, but when you get those first downs, when you make plays, when you get the crowd going, man, it just gets you jacked up.
Just makes you
want to do more.
Takes the edge off a little bit, almost.
Well, look, think about it. You can even tell from this game manager stuff. Why is it? Because they look at his stats and they're like, well, those aren't great stats. He's not a gunslinger. He's not blah, 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 right? You see that. But you look and you see when he does make those dimes. I mean, there's special throws. He's got that kind of talent in him. And when he takes off and runs, that's when it all comes together. And I think his teammates feed off it. I think they become dangerous, and then you got this defense that's been a great story. So I just want to see Trev in this game. Hey, play like you did last week. Keep playing like that each and every week, and you're just going to get better and better and better, in my opinion.
Did you see that he said the Titans game was the first game that his knee felt completely fine?
Yeah.
That makes sense because that seemed to be the first game in a while that you really saw him kind of let loose a little bit.
I think, but Saints, he let loose. And that was
I know, it was weird. You're right.
It was all straight ahead. It wasn't misdirection.
Yeah.
He's, bending that. It was all like, okay, if it's in front of you, take it. And he took it. And now maybe he had a setback after that game. We don't know. Maybe the pain was bad. You know what I mean? You just never know. And maybe he just had to nurse it back a little bit. Now he's back. But whatever it is, that's what he needs to do, in my opinion. And I do want to see, look, ETN's having a great year. I love the kid. We have to be better at running the football. We're not running the football well enough. We're only at 3.7 yards per carry. They're only at 3.9, so I'm not, comparing, but we need to make that better. It's got to be better.
Against a team, like you said, that's allowing over 5 yards a carry.
Let's attack that.
There's no time like the present, man. Go get it.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you, we got to be concerned, and we do have to. I got to go over to Jaguars today. Stats brought to you by Team Tommy Mac, baby. Love every single one of them, and of course, all local that help you out. And for going into the weekend, I tell you what, you get thrown in the clink. My friend Chris will get you out in a blink. Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds, number one name in the bail game. Just 822-2245. 904-822-2245. Plug it in your phone. You or one of your loved ones or friends or whoever may need it someday. Hopefully you don't. But when you do, Chris will be there and ready to take care of it. And I appreciate all of my Team Tommy Mac sponsors. So they are plus 10 in turnover ratio. How about that? That's pretty impressive, man. 28 sacks, 12 interceptions. Now, we have 11, and we have 24 sacks. Of course, Josh Allen with 12 is leading the way. But that's pretty impressive because we're only plus 2. You would think they'd be throwing more picks. You know what I mean? Plus 10 and doing pretty darn good in that regard. Third down, we're about even on offense, and we're about 10 percentage points better on defense. Our defense on third down has been good. And last week, our offense was really good on third down. Third and long, especially. Remember, the YPA, yards per attempt, last week was 9.6 from Trev. That's all. That makes me smile, because that means you're taking it downtown. Not even downtown. You're just moving it down. Like you're throwing 15-yard passes. You're going to have some dinks and dunks and this and that. I love the crossover. We talked about that to really want to see Ridley continue to improve. I think he will. Listen, I give him a hard time for dropping a touchdown. Nobody's hurting more than him when that drop happens. He wants to catch that rock. There's no doubt about it. And I think as it goes on, he will. Their defense, like I said, gives up 5 yards a carry on the ground, 8.1 yards per attempt. Interesting. With 12 picks, right? It's almost like that guy Bland last night. Did he get worked? I mean, jeez. He's the guy who's got 5 picks for scores. And that gaff is so good. Did you see one of his early touchdowns when they clocked him at almost 23 miles an hour? Go drive your car today with no kids around and people around, just 23 miles an hour, and go feel how that feels. He's running that fast. That's incredible.
Tyreek Hill said he challenged DK to a race in the offseason.
Yeah.
And I guess DK he'd gotten like a minor surgery or something. It was in a boot for a couple weeks, so he couldn't. Yeah. But at some point, that race has to happen.
It's going to happen. Hey, they used to do that, right? What was that competition they had where the NFL players would race each other in 40-yard sprints?
That's awesome.
Oh, it was great. Darryl Green, Herschel Walker, they were in the final once. And Darryl beat him, but it was amazing that Herschel was pretty close at the size he was because Darryl Green was like 5'8", 5'9". Yeah, something of the stars, Battle of the Stars. That's what it was.
That's
Battle
awesome.
Of the Stars. Yeah, it was phenomenal. So we may have something there, throwing the ball down the field on them. Points-wise, we're averaging 23 on offense, giving up 20.5. They're averaging only 19 and giving up 22. So that'll be interesting. Fourth down, hey, it's part of the deal. We're 7 of 16 on offense. They're 5 of 11. 12 of 26 on defense. Offense has gone for it on fourth down 26 times against our Jags. They're 12 of 26, and Cincy's 2 of 8. So that's interesting there. Overall, look, I think we beat this team. I think we take care of business, and I think we do it in good fashion. And I'm going to say the same score on Jaguars today when we give it later. But I'm going Jags 27, Cincinnati 14. Maybe it'll be as low as 10. But I don't expect Jake Browning to be comfortable back there. You got to get after him. He's not C.J. Stroud. He can play. He wouldn't be there if he couldn't play. But if you give him time, he's going to show you that he can make throws. And guess what? Quick slant to Chase, and you miss a tackle, and it's 6, baby. You know what I mean? So don't think like, oh, Joe's not. No, this is a team that's very capable of beating our Jaguars if we do not play our game. You can't turn the ball over. You definitely got out physical. They're going to come in here trying to physical you. They are. That's that's the message every away team gets. Hey, punch them in the mouth, and we'll shut the crowd up. Punch them in the mouth. We'll take the wind out of their sails a little bit, thinking that, the traveling bothers us. Doesn't bother us. It gets us stronger. Brings it, they're going to bring that to the table, which I love that. But not for this game, because I think our Jags will step up. They've learned their lesson twice this year now. Twice. Houston the first game, And then San Fran. Lessons have been learned. We don't need any more lessons learned, I don't think, Gramage. It's time to put the pedal down. And by the way, like we said on Tuesday, it's time to put teams away. Some of that's play calling, right? And look, just so people, real quick, it can happen very easily. Just think about this. Okay, we get the ball. We're rolling. We're feeling good. We throw it on first down. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. Okay, we hand the ball off. Oh, they stuff us. 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 9, whatever it is. Then we throw another ball. We're out. 3 and out, right? Come back in. Handoff. Tackle. It can happen. The execution doesn't happen for whatever reason. I will say this. I do want to see, and I don't know if Trevor audible to this or not, but when it's 3rd and 7 with 3:15 to go in the 4th quarter and you have the lead, you don't go for the bomb. I mean, if you think you're going to catch them off guard, fine, but clearly they did not. Little underthrown, so maybe if he throws it over the top, maybe it's different. But that's a really risky play when if you had a crossing route that you set up where they're always wide open, Kirk, Ingram, whoever, you get that first down and the clock runs. Now they're going to use their timeouts, fine. But you are control of the game. That's what I'm talking about, putting them away, Gramage. You know what I mean? Whether it's pounding the rock and running time off the clock or making smart decisions with play calls and where I'm placing that football. And I'll tell you another thing, too, for Trev. Don't throw that ball inside on outside throws. Too many times last week. And all it takes is one quick jump, and they're gone the other way. So just a little caution there. Other than that, let it rip, young man. Let it rip. It's going to be a great, great outing. I'll be out there with my oldest daughter. I surprised her last night with a ticket.
Nice.
So we're going to go. Just the two of us have a phenomenal time. We'll definitely see you out there. And what'd you want to say, my man? You got something to say?
I was just going to say really quick, the last thing we had talked about was how great of a uniform matchup this is about to be. Bengals are wearing their all whites, including white helmet.
Oh.
So they're all white head to toe, and we're all black head to toe.
Siberian tiger.
All black unis versus all white unis.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
You know what it bothers me
in a night game,
about,
love it.
You know what bothers me about Cincinnati? And this may not bother a lot of people, but back in the day, we came out to Welcome to the Jungle from Guns N' Roses, and it was rocking. And at one time, we were the jungle. We were the team. They've taken it over. They're the jungle. We're the bank. It's fine. Bank's a nice one. Lock them down in the bank. No problem. But maybe we should play Welcome to the Jungle.
Just because we can.
It's our song. It's our song. All right.
I love it.
I got to go. Once again, thanks, Gramage. Appreciate it.
We got fun and games.
That's right. Yeah. Fun and games, baby. Not Team Tommy Mac. They're all about business and taking care of you. Chris Ocero's Bail Bonds, J-Dog Junk Removal, Truck Accident Law Firm. All they do is truck crashes. Outback Marine Construction. David Plummer gets the job done right. Graffiti Burger Bar was there last night. Great food, great service, great spot. Carpet Man Flooring, LVP. It's not just LVP. It is tile, it's carpet, it's hardwood. They got it all. Highest quality, lowest prices. Azar Sausage. Get at your local grocer, man, including Solomon's Ventures. That's right, new to Team Tommy Mac. Great to have that family on board and their store on Art Museum Drive. Of course, Azar Sausage as well. You can get it at Winn-Dixie, Publix, and all throughout. Hey, I got a freezer full and absolutely love it. Until next time, y'all stay safe out there. Be cool, man. Be cool. And LFG Jags, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Have a great day and weekend, everybody. See you next time. Peace.